Have you ever opened your science book one day before exam and thought इतना syllabus है अब तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता? Or maybe you have studied a lot but you still lose marks because of all those silly mistakes. Well, here is the good news. Scoring above 90 in class 10 science isn't about who studied the longest. It's about who studied the smartest. In this video, I'm going to share the exact strategy that toppers use before the science exam. So yes, let us begin. Alright, so the most important thing is you have to understand the weightage. The biggest mistake students make is giving equal weightage to all the chapters. Instead, first divide your syllabus into three categories. High weighted chapters, these are chapters from which multiple questions are asked every year. For examples, light or electricity, life processes, carbon and its compounds, chemical reactions and equations, as you can see from the screen as well. These should be definitely your first priority. Next comes medium weighted chapters. So as you can see here on the screen, there are solid supporting chapters, there are other chapters in biology as well. So yes, here our priority would be to build our concepts, but definitely not prioritizing them as much as high weighted chapters. And then at the end, if you are left with time, then do the low weighted chapters. I would not advise you to leave any of the chapters, because yes, every chapter gives you some marks. So try to cover for your whole syllabus for one time. All right. Now, the most important tip out of the whole session, NCRT is your best friend. Yes. Many students buy five different reference books. But you know what? What separates toppers from the rest of the students is that they stick to one resource and read it multiple times rather than reading it from multiple resources. So yes, you have to understand this exam before you understand your syllabus. CBSE exams are designed mainly around NCERT. Every line, every diagram, every activity can become a question. So before touching any guidebook, read NCERT carefully. Underline the important definitions, highlight formulas, mark the reactions, and revise them repeatedly. If the thought comes to your mind that, okay, I want to go to another book, I would rather advise you to practice more questions than reading from more resources. If you feel like reading more, go back to NCERT and read it again. Alright. Now I'm going to give you the most high yield tip. So, this is solving the previous year questions. Yes, why am I advising you this? This is probably the most underrated strategy. Previous questions help you understand the question pattern, the frequently asked concepts, important diagrams, expected numerical problems. No matter how well you are prepared, if you are not going to do the previous year questions, definitely you won't be able to perform in the exam. This is where the strategy takes place, right? So you have to play smartly. You have to know what examiner wants from you. How would you manage your time in the exam hall? A lot of students are prepared really well, but they face the problem of time lacking during examination. So if you know beforehand where you might lose time, how you need to tackle your time, you can only get it by practicing the previous year questions. So not only previous year questions, what I would recommend you is sit for 3 hours, get some sample papers of board examinations very easily available, and sit with them in an exam like environment and write the answers. Nothing better than that. Not only it allows you to revise things, but also stimulates you to the real environment where you have to work under the pressure and write and remember all the information in those 3 hours, right? Okay, another tip, very important tip, would be to practice numericals daily. I know all of us fear physics, but you know what? Physics isn't difficult. It is a subject that requires practice. So, what would I recommend you? Every day, without a fail, solve electricity numericals, learn formula questions. Mirror formula questions are extremely important as well. And also, please make sure you are doing the power calculations, because people tend to make slight errors there as well. You know, you always remember formula plus unit plus proper calculation means full marks. Another tip from my end would be start your day by practicing questions. As they say, eat the frog in the morning. So if you eat this frog in the morning, you are set for the today's day, right? Okay. Another very good tip for you is to master the diagrams. You know what sets you apart from the person who scores a lot of marks in the exams is this thing. Yes, diagrams. No matter how much you know in theoretical component, if you don't present it with diagrams, definitely you are never going to score more than the person who is making diagrams. You know, we all know science is a visualization subject, right? So practice diagrams like human digestive system. Very importantly, the diagram of eye, heart, electric circuit, ray diagrams. Use a pencil to draw these diagrams. Never draw them with the help of a pen. Keep the labeling neat. You might say that I don't know how to draw really well. Doesn't matter. If your labelings are correct, if your labelings are appropriate, properly placed, and placed cleanly, nobody will stop your marks. Yes, don't overcrowd the figure. And even if your answer is slightly incomplete, a neat diagram can fetch you marks. So whenever you are lacking time in the paper, if you know that I'm only left with 5 minutes and it's a long answer, I would always advise you to first draw the diagram, completely label it and put everything in the diagram, and then start with writing the answer. Even if you leave the answer incomplete, the examiner, believe me, will give you full marks if you draw the diagram correctly. Right? Okay. Now comes in your strategist. Yes. Not scoring good marks not only requires you to study but also to understand your game better. So yes, learn how CBSE awards the marks. Many students know the answer but they still lose marks because they do not present it correctly. So the tip is always prefer to write in points. Underline the keywords. You know, the examiners have to check every single copy in lesser than 2 minutes. So how do they know that you do know everything about the answer? How can they quickly scan through their copy? You have to make their job the easiest. So highlight the keywords. Definitely, if they see them highlighted, they know that you know about the answer you are writing. Yes, mention the scientific terms correctly. That is very much expected from you. Write the balanced chemical equations correctly. This is the least expected thing from you. Don't write unnecessary stories, please, right? Every examiner knows what you are doing when you are changing active to passive, right? These examiners check hundreds of paper. A neat answer sheet definitely creates a positive impression and is like a sigh of relief, correct? Now, I know till now everything seems right, but your anxiety levels will peak right away the last 3 4 days of the exam. So, what my tips for you for these last 3 days would be? I have breakdown for every day for you. So, for day one, I would advise you to revise physics completely. You have gone through formulas, you know the ray diagrams, so just skim through your notes entirely. This day is only for physics. Day 2 is for revising chemistry. Go through all the balanced equations, see the arrows if it's going back, if it is in both directions, right? See the numerators, denominators, everything. And for the day 3, I would say revise biology and diagrams. Because biology is a more volatile subject, it's better that you keep it for the last day. At night, before sleeping, revise formulas, reactions, and definitions only. That's it. And most important tip is please sleep for 8 hours. Your brain needs 8 hours of sleep to require to properly function, right? So don't start a new chapter before one day in the exam. Now, few tips for you during the exam as well, right? Read the paper carefully always. Attempt the easiest questions first. Leave difficult numericals for later. Check units, okay? Check the chemical equations while you are writing the answer. A lot of time in physics, when you derive the answer, you forget to write the units. Don't make that mistake. You will lose your marks. Keep 15 minutes, try to keep 15 minutes at the end for the revision, and many students gain 3 to 5 marks extra simply by correcting the calculating mistakes, right? So yes, final message from my end would be, remember, science is not about memorizing everything. This year also decides your interest and you choosing the stream ahead or not. So please read it for the love of science, and yes, it's about understanding the concepts and presenting them well. If you follow this strategy consistently, believe me, scoring even above 95 becomes much easier. So, best of luck for your exams. See you in the next video where we will solve an important previous year science question together. All the best.